Happy holidays, everybody, and welcome back inside the lab to your source for daily fantasy hockey news and degenerate gambling breakdowns. The Locked On Fantasy Hockey Podcast, big Wednesday episode, second half, bold predictions. We're breaking it all down on today's episode. Let's get this paper.
You're Locked On Fantasy Hockey, your daily podcast on fantasy hockey. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What is going on, everybody? And thank you so much for joining us for the Wednesday episode of the Locked On Fantasy Hockey Podcast. Happy holidays, and thank you for making us your first listen every single day. Today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off your first purchase, saving a little bit of holiday cash steal. It's been a busy season already. You can tell my voice is almost pooched, been on a holiday heater steal. But hockey's back, baby, and that means you and I are back. We got bets, but more importantly and more fun, we're breaking down our favorite bold predictions for this second half. And mine are bold, but all of them I think are really going to hold true, and I think you're going to like them. By the way, I'm excited to get back to talking hockey with you, brother. Shout out to everyone out there listening. It's a time of year that I think we really all should be grateful. I know I am for being on this show with you, Steele. So right over to you, brother. Bold second half predictions. Let's get it.
Merry Christmas and happy holidays to you and your family all out there. And you, of course, Flip as well.
Thank you, sir.
Got to spend the time with the family while you can. It's always great seeing them and being around them. But hockey's back. We got to dive right into the fantasy hockey aspect and some of these bold predictions for the second half. And I'm sticking in the Eastern Conference for all three of my bold predictions here in the second half. Number one prediction for the second half of the season: Detroit Red Wings will make the playoffs. Come April time or come postseason time. You know, they were absolutely buzzing for the first 2 months this season. They were set in second place in the Atlantic Division, right behind the Boston Bruins. DeBrincat, Dylan Larkin, Lucas Raymond. They were putting on an absolute show out there. They signed Patrick Kane, which everyone was super ecstatic about. They signed him 10 games ago, but ever since they signed him, it's been an absolute it's been absolutely ugly for the Detroit Red Wings. They've gone 2-7-1 in their last 10 games with Patrick Kane. So there's no coincidence there. Maybe there's some chemistry they still need to figure out. But for me personally, it's been the goaltenders that have been a huge letdown in those last 10 games. You know, even at the beginning of December, I believe 2 weeks ago, I was actually saying how much I loved the trio of James Reimer, Ville Husso, and Alex Lyon. And obviously you want Ville Husso to be the guy. And he's got the win record right now for them, 9-4-1. He's got the best record out of all three goaltenders right there. But he needs to be a lot better. And so far, the last 10 games, the goaltenders have been a lot worse than what we saw at the beginning of the season. They've lost 5 one-goal games in their last 10. You know, they're just losing games that they probably should be winning. And again, close games that the goaltenders have really just let them down so far. So they need to be a lot better, and it starts in the blue paint for them moving forward. The Red Wings, they're still an above 500 team. They're 16-14-4. They're a plus 230 to make the playoffs right now. So some great odds for the Detroit Red Wings. But they're only 3 points back of the Tampa Bay Lightning with a game in hand. They have 34 points. The Lightning have 39 points, who sit in that second wildcard spot. So I'm going with the Detroit Red Wings. Can they make a few more moves? Of course they can. Obviously, by the trade deadline, they'll probably add a few more guys, maybe on the blue line or in their bottom six. But I believe the Detroit Red Wings, I believe in Steve Yzerman's plan, and they will be a playoff team come the postseason time.
I know I'm already fired up for hockey being back because just in your talk there, I already have like 16 things I want to get off the top of the dome. So I'm going to try and keep it tight here because also I'm pretty sure my voice is going to pooch. And you know it's bad when, shout out to the viewers on YouTube, I'm having a drink and it's not a beer. So here we go. When I look at the Eastern Conference, just to touch on your point right away about the Red Wings and making the postseason, it's a little bit bold, but I don't think it's that bold because of this. I look at the Eastern and Western conferences, and both divisions, all divisions are really still tight. And I think what you're going to see is the teams still in the mix in the West really start to fade. The Arizonas, the St. Louis Blues, those fringe teams. Whereas in the East, I'm having a tougher time predict. Islanders, Flyers, Caps, Hurricanes, Rangers, Red Wings, Lightning. meaning there's going to be a couple of really good teams left on the outside looking in. I think all of those teams that I just mentioned, including the Red Wings, are all very much in the mix in the East. So I think I'm right on par with you with the Red Wings. And my second take was, and this is going to go right into my bold prediction, a lot of new faces in the mix in Detroit.
Yeah.
We talked about, we love Patrick Kane coming in. Makes a lot of sense. That building's rocking down in D-Town right now, and it's going to pan out. And I think that's why I like this take even more from you. Patrick Kane's bringing fantasy value into that top six. We are seeing that they can pop off for a lot of goals, but they're allowing too many. And I think a little bit of the problem has been that chemistry, and that's the problem with my team in the Pittsburgh Penguins. There's been too many new faces, and they've struggled to form chemistry. And I think some bonding time over the holidays, a couple of days off, I think this Penguins team, Steele, has enough gusto to get into the playoffs. I love Tristan Jarry, and you know what it comes down to for my man. It's 87. He's going to put this team on his back. I'm calling it now, and maybe that's my bold prediction. Sid's going to go off in the second half even more, and that's even less bold. So, no, I'm sticking with it. Penguins are going to make the playoffs. Sid's going to carry him there, and I just wanted to leave it at this because I know I'm going off because I'm fired up. I said I'm going to keep it short. Look into the draft capital for this Pittsburgh Penguins team. They also got Jeff Carter's contract coming off the books. Maybe there's a deal that Dubas can pull, because I know if the Penguins are lurking around, Dubas is going to add, because you know Sid and Gino are on that front office door tapping their toe. Anyway, bold prediction, Penguins punch a postseason ticket.
I got to say, this bold prediction of yours doesn't seem like it's going to bode well for your side bet in our casual or competitive league with that bet you made with
I didn't actually make it, but I like what you're saying.
Yeah. Anyways, but yeah, that'll be very interesting. Two teams from the Eastern Conference that we have, they're on the outside right now. We're predicting that they'll be in the playoffs come April time. So both the Detroit Red Wings and the Pittsburgh Penguins, they got to make up some ground right now, but they've got the players right now. The thing I forgot to mention about the Detroit Red Wings is even though they've struggled the last 10 games with Patrick Kane. Patrick Kane's been absolutely solid out there. 5 goals, 5 assists, 10 points in those 10 games. So he's been an absolute mutation, and he's doing exactly what he said he was going to do when he was coming back from that rehab from his hip surgery.
Yes, sir. And just to recircle back onto the Penguins, I do think you see Brian Rust come back. I think you're going to see a big second half from Jake Gensel, and I know he's got 35 points. He's in a contract year. You and I like Jake Gensel. I think they need a player to really, other than Sid, go on a heater. Nedeljkovic has not been too bad, but it's got to be Jarry. It's got to be Erik Karlsson. It's got to be one of these guys. Riley Smith started strong. They got to get some more out of him. But I think, again, and this is the fantasy takeaway to bring that back to the fantasy side of things, I think you're going to start to see a lot of value out of some of these peripheral Pittsburgh Penguin pieces that you might actually be able to go out there and add in a lot of leagues, like probably Riley Smith, who's definitely out there.
I had Riley Smith at the beginning of the season, but like you said, he kind of fell off the last month and a bit. So hopefully a few of those guys that we mentioned, again, this is the Pittsburgh Penguins are one of, if not the oldest team in the NHL right now. They've got so many veterans on them. And, Kyle Dubas went there for a reason. He talked with Sidney Crosby before he signed that contract with them, but it's not working out with the players that he's brought in.
Not right now.
Not right now anyways, but we got 2 more bold predictions each from both Flip and your boy Steel Roden over here, where we got to talk about some of these sponsors over the holiday season.
Yes, we do. Today's episode is brought to you by our friends at Game Time. New Year is on the way. A lot of fun events you could be buying tickets for, and that's why you got to browse through the Game Time app and check out all the upcoming events in your area. Last-minute tickets, zone deals, flash deals, easy way to find and buy tickets for every kind of event near you. You got to be checking out the Game Time app, Steele, and I love it for obviously buying NHL tickets. It takes the guesswork and all of the struggle out of buying tickets right away on the Game Time app. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute deals, lowest price guaranteed.
And thank you so much for making the Locked On Fantasy Hockey Podcast your first listen every single day. Continue to hit the subscribe, the follow button, and a 5-star review. And remember, go check out Locked On Sports today. They've launched the first ever national sports 24/7 streaming channel on YouTube. They're here for you 24/7, covering the top sports stories of the day with local experts of Locked On, plus the national shows covering every single league. So make sure you go to Locked On Sports Today on YouTube and subscribe to the first ever national sports 24/7 streaming channel. And again, thank you so much for tuning in over the holiday season, over the Christmas break right now. We appreciate all that love and support, all the love and support to you and your family out there tuning in over the holiday season. 2 more bold predictions from both Flip and I. And then we'll get over to big time bets for Wednesday. A big board, 28 teams in action on Wednesday, December 27th. But Flip, if you don't mind, I'll get into my second bold prediction here. And I'm staying in the Eastern Conference, like I said, and I've got to talk about these New York Islanders because they've been my dark horse team over the last 2-3 seasons. And I really like what they are showing us right now. So my bold prediction, the New York Islanders will be in the Eastern Conference Finals. They will be in the Eastern Conference Finals. That's the bold prediction.
That is bold.
Pick. This is my dark horse team. Like I said, I've been calling them for the last 2-3 seasons, and I'm only calling them a dark horse because of what their odds are at right now currently. Otherwise, I wouldn't be calling them a dark horse, but that's what the narrative I want to say of the Islanders is right now. But I talked a lot about them on the Waiver Wire Target Monday Christmas special on Monday. I believe this team is legit, and I think they can very much so make a deep playoff run. I've said this on Monday. Brock Nelson doing his thing still at 33 years old, 30 points. He's scoring goals. He's setting up his teammates. Matthew Barzal is on pace for 90 points, which would be a career high. Breakout season from Noah Dobson, like you and I both expected from this player on the blue line. Bo Horvat has been an absolute crucial and vital part to their success so far this year, especially on the power play and on the penalty kill. Like I said on Monday, they went from the worst power play last year, a measly 5%, to now this season where they're the 6th best power play in the league at 24.73%. So we talked about that last year about what Bo Horvat can do for special teams, and he's doing that this year with all those other guys that I just mentioned. Also, 8 shorthanded goals this season, which is second best by any team in the NHL. And this is why I'm calling them a dark horse, because they are a plus 5,500 to win the cup right now. But like I said, I absolutely believe in this team. Again, they're sort of on the older side. They have a lot of veterans on their team, but they do have some young guys, Oliver Wahlstrom, Simon Holmstrom. Then you've got guys in their prime right now, Matthew Barzal, Bo Horvat, and Noah Dobson, who's 23, 24. So they've got a mixture of good vets, prime guys, and some young guys. And again, like I said, my bold prediction of them making it to the Eastern Conference Finals, I believe one of my preseason predictions was the Toronto Maple Leafs were going to be in the Eastern Conference Finals. So that could be the Eastern Conference Finals matchup right there, Islanders and the Leafs. But here's the last thing I want to say about this. I believe in the next 5 years, the Stanley Cup will make its way to New York at least once. Potentially twice.
You're going in on this one. I like it.
Potentially twice, whether that be the Islanders or the Rangers who win it first.
Okay. So you're hedging. I like it. This is good.
I don't know who will get it first, but one of them will win. And if not one, maybe two, but at least one of them over the next 6 years, 5 years will hoist the Stanley Cup, and the Stanley Cup will be in New York.
I absolutely love doing these episodes with you, Steele, because now if you don't go out there and put at least $2.50 or $5.
Oh, dude, I put $20 on the Islanders to win the cup.
Yeah, and I was gonna say you might as well find yourself a book that you can pick who finishes in the Eastern Conference Final and pick the Leafs versus the Islanders and pay your tuition off right now, brother. But anyway, my main concern for this team, because we haven't even mentioned the main reason why they could be a dark horse, and that's their goaltender in Sorokin. So
I was leaving that for you.
Thank you. Well, you did it very nicely. So shout out to you. We're feeling the Christmas nog right now. But Ilya Sorokin is right there alone. He could carry a team half as good as the Islanders, and we could probably call them a dark horse. This is a real dark horse. So I like that you're highlighting it. It's bold, but I don't think it's out of the realm of legitimate possibility because this team has played a lot better over the last number of weeks. It comes down to, can they roll 3 lines with offensive threat? And right now they don't have that. Do they pick someone up? Does the bottom 6 really make a push in the second half? All things that could happen. But when you look at some teams, and I'll talk about one of them for my last bold prediction, in the Los Angeles Kings, And teams that we really do think, like the Vegas Golden Knights and otherwise, who roll 2 or 3 solid lines, I don't know if this Islanders team could really make that much of a run in the Eastern Conference, but that's the only thing I could poke a hole in. I like this take, Steele. I hope you're ready for probably.
Oh, I'm ready.
Not probably. It's my boldest take, so that's why I'm going to leave it in the middle because I'm worried that my voice is going to go out at the end. Auston Matthews. Okay, here we go. Take a look at Auston Matthews' current pace, 82-game pace. I'm not saying he's going to score 112 goals, which is what he's on pace for right now. But I'm going to say Matthews does something that hasn't been done since Teemu Selanne in 1993, and that's score 70 goals. My bold prediction is Matthews goes on an impressive heater. And yeah, you see the blue and white behind me. And yeah, Steele and I come on here. We get a little fired up about the Leafs. But we also keep it legit and we keep it tight. When we see what we see, we call it how it is. And if you're not paying attention to what Auston Matthews is doing right now, he's clearly the best goal scorer in the NHL. Maybe for a couple of years there, you and I and a lot of people would say OV or Matthews. It's clear who the best goal scorer in the league is right now. And I think Matthews goes off. And I think the Toronto Maple Leafs, and, hold me down here, Steele, with your take in a second. They haven't even come close to playing their best hockey. And we know Auston Matthews carries this team, but what happens if they fully start to click? The goaltending's been a bit of a mess with injuries. The back end has been a bit of a mess with injuries and poor play. I think the team gets better, and I think that is going to allow Matthews to do his thing in a very, very big way. And if you look at it right now, with 28 goals in 30 games and his ability to really pop off with 3 or 4 or more, I don't think 70 is too far of a stretch. It's bold, but we know he can get 60, so why not 10 more?
Well, you're going to have to ask someone else to hold you down, and probably me as well, because I'm right there with you for this last bold prediction. My last bold prediction for the second half of the season, I'm going to Auston Matthews as well.
Yes.
Auston, this coincides with what your prediction, but it's not exactly what he said. Steele. Auston Matthews will have 50 goals by his 60th game, and you can put that in as a lock. He is the best goal scorer in the NHL, like you said.
We didn't even plan this.
We did not plan this whatsoever. 28 goals through 30 games already. Like you said, he's already on pace for over 100, but I'm predicting he'll have 50 goals by his 60th game in the NHL this season. Just for comparison, like you said, through their first 511 games, Matthews 327 goals, Ovechkin 311 goals. So we're talking about the best goal scorer in the NHL over the last decade or 2 decades. Now the best goal scorer in the NHL right now, Auston Matthews. I love what he's at. I love what he's doing with his game right now. He continues to add more to his arsenal. He's taking a few more slap shots. I love that new move he's got. Holds the puck along the boards. He looks like he's about to pass it and then just rifles it along the ice straight at the goal. And he's catching the goaltenders off guard. Yep. He's done that 4 or 5 times this year so far. And when you can make plays and score goals alone the way that Matthews does, and then you add Mitch Marner, one of the best passers, and Nylander, who's been playing out of his mind this season, when you add both those guys into the equation, the sky is the limit for Auston Matthews, and there's no question in my mind that he reaches 50 goals by the 60th game. And like you said, I think he could probably get up to 70 goals by the end of the season. Currently on a 7-game goal streak with 12 goals in that time.
Thank you.
Boom, and that's going to go straight into big-time bets when we get to that as well.
Yes, sir. It will. And my goodness, we didn't even plan this. I just got to show this has only been done by 7 previous players in the NHL. Phil Esposito, Wayne Gretzky, Mario Lemieux, Brett Hull, McGillney, Selanne, Yari Curry, and Bernie Nichols. Auston Matthews is a special talent. But when you look at these numbers of these players, I'm not even going to try and put him in that realm. He's in a realm of his own. It's a different generation. It's a different game. It's not played the same. I can't look at these numbers and compare them up and down. So I'm just going to leave it at this. Auston Matthews goes up to 70 Steele, and the team plays how I think it can. If Joseph Wall comes back and they make an addition on the blue line, this team is going to make some noise this year. They've got the monkey off their back. They know they can win in the postseason. Did they run out of steam and run into a red-hot Florida team last year? They did. I have a feeling this year is going to be a little bit different. That's another bold prediction altogether. Matthews pops 70. I got one more quick bold prediction right after we get from the break.
And then big time bets right after this Flip's last bold prediction. But of course, this episode is also brought to you by FanDuel. As the weather gets colder, the NFL offers stay hot on FanDuel right now. New customers get $150 in bonus bets with any $5 moneyline bet. That's $150 in bonus bets if your team wins. If you've been thinking about joining FanDuel, which we urge you to do so, there's no better time to get into the action than over the holiday season. The app is super safe and easy to use. There's a wide range of betting options, including spreads, player props, over-unders, and of course, the fan favorite on here, the same game parlay, which I've got one for Wednesday's betting board. So visit FanDuel.com/lockedon and kick off the NFL season right. FanDuel, official partner of the NFL. And thank you so much for making the Locked On Fantasy Hockey Podcast your first listen every single day. Continue to hit the subscribe, leave a follow, and a 5-star review. Flip and I appreciate all that love and support you show us Monday through Friday, 7 o'clock in the morning. So again, just got to show the love and show the show the support out there, because it's been absolutely incredible to see every single day out there, especially on the YouTube, the Twitter comments that we get. We just really do love and appreciate all of you tuning into this podcast. So thank you so much for that. Flip, I'm going to throw it back over to you. Tell everyone the last bold prediction for the second half of the season, and then we'll get over to big time bets.
When you take a look at the NHL standings, overall, Vancouver Canucks have 49 points headed into tonight. Vegas Golden Knights, 47. Right there, you got in the New York Rangers, Boston Bruins, of course, Dallas Stars, Colorado Avalanche. A team a little bit down, slightly, not much, at 42 points in the Pacific Division, named the LA Kings, are going to be the team of the second half. My prediction, this is the President's Trophy winning team.
Oh, wow.
They're going to finish at number 1. And this is also going to get a little bit of my money steal because it's a juicy odd, so go out there and check it. The Vancouver Canucks, and this might not be as bold because they've just overachieved. I know they've been good, and I know they're playoff quality. I don't see them winning this division. So right there, it's going to go to Vegas or LA if I'm feeling that prediction. And I love this Kings team steal. 6-3-1 headed into the break. A lot to like, and I'll leave my final take at this because we all know about the forward lines. We know they've got a solid blue line. Victor Arvidsson coming back could be key to this team. And I know that's a little bit weird to say about a guy who plays on the third line. Him, Danault, and Trevor Moore, we all know, form one of the best third lines in the league. If Victor Arvidsson can come back healthy, the latest is not looking great. So this is why I wanted to leave it at this. I also believe that the LA Kings will be one of the most active teams on the market because they also just lost Phoenix Copley. So I know Cam Talbot is very capable, but I expect them to be very aggressive on the market to be looking at a goalie and a body up the middle if Victor Arvidsson can come back, on the wing. That's my take. I know there's a lot of tangibles there, but this team has looked really good, and they are sneaky, dangerous offensively. Quinton Byfield peaking. This is a dangerous team to handle, Steele.
I absolutely love this bold prediction of yours, and I agree with it. I do believe at this point, when we did our preseason predictions, again, I didn't even have the Vancouver Canucks making the playoffs. They are definitely a playoff team now. Yeah. Will they finish atop of that Pacific? I don't believe so. Will they finish top 3? I think they will, but I agree with you. The way that the LA Kings are playing right now, they're getting the best out of Cam Talbot. We've been hot on Victor Arvidsson and that third line for the last 2 seasons. So
it's true.
When they get again, it's weird to say, but when they get Arvidsson back and they can really solidify some of their lineups going into the second half, I love this take of yours. Probably my favorite, if not second favorite. You got some really good predictions here. I got to go with that Auston Matthews reaching 70 because that's my favorite out there for sure. But.
And just very lastly, because I do want to wrap this up, bets. I'm missing bets. Let's hammer it. Have a big year this year. Steele started it off nice, by the way. World Junior Canada, cha-ching. Let's get it.
Sir.
Is looking at the goal differential. The Vancouver Canucks are far and away the best team right now in terms of a lot of things, and a plus 46 goal differential is one of them. But at number 2 and clear and away in second is the LA Kings at plus 34. So I really do think they could even be having more points. Gotten a little unlucky, couple of bad games, couple of close ones. Anyway, you can say that about any team. I'm done. Let's get to bets. LA is going to have a big second half and finish top of the table.
I like that as well. Let's go over to big time bets. I got a same game parlay for you.
So
I'm just going to rattle all 3 of them off here. First pick. Going to that Maple Leafs Ottawa Senators game. Of course, I got to go there. We got it's a little rivalry in Ontario there. It's the Buzz going up against the Senators. But
this
first
team
pick of
bothers
the
me,
night,
Steele. I want to beat
they
them
do
every single
bother me.
time by 15.
Every single time. I'm going Maple Leafs on the money line against the Ottawa Senators. The odds aren't currently out right now, so we'll make sure they're up and out for an hour before game time. Maple Leafs money line, though, against the Ottawa Senators. They're 7-3-0 in their last 10 games. They've won the last 2, so I really like the Maple Leafs on the money line at home. Second pick, Leafs Senators over 6.5 in this matchup for 3 reasons, actually 4 reasons. 6 of their last 10 games have gone over the number between these two teams. In the Senators' last 5 games before the holiday break, they've gone 5 of them have gone. The last 5 games have gone over the number, and 5 out of the 6 Leafs last games have gone well over the number. We've seen some very crooked numbers lately for the Maple Leafs, but here's the 4th reason why. Jonas Korpisalo and Anton Forsberg have been hot garbage. I don't assume Ilya Samsonov.
Feels good to say.
It does feel good to say.
Yeah.
I don't assume I don't presume that Samsonov will be in the crease Wednesday.
Who knows?
I'm predicting it will be Martin Jones, but whether it's Samsonov or Martin Jones, it's still Martin Jones in there. He can win games, but he's still going to let a few goals in. So I'm going with the bad goaltenders in this one with some hot, heavy, talented offensive groups right now. So take the over 6.5. It feels like free money in this instance for the between these two teams. And the lock of the night, I was alluding to it all episode long. Matthews anytime goal. He's on a 7-game goal streak right now. He's been popping 2 a night, it seems like, every other game. That's the lock of the night for me, and that's the same game parlay.
Hey, if we're going to start the year off or, the second half off by drinking the Kool-Aid, Steele, so be it. Let's see it. Because, look, they're still very much alive in that entire conference, the Toronto Maple Leafs. You want to talk about bold predictions and teams finishing on top. And they haven't even been close to playing their best hockey. So let's just see how the second half plays out, shall we? Feel in those bets. I'm going to go quick with my first 2 because, I got to save some time for the lock of the night. The LA Kings, right into it. At home to start the season, in the San Jose Sharks. This goes right into my same point. This is far too good of a club to be losing to teams like San Jose, and I think they set that tone early after the Christmas break earlier this year, right before the break. They just beat the Sharks 4-1. Kings, puck line, -1.5. I'm not falling back on this Kings team. All in, baby. They're going to pump the San Jose Sharks, who I know have been playing better, but I'm going all in. Puck line, I'm back, -1.5. Second pick, and this was going to be my honorable mention, and I am going to just quickly say that the Carolina Hurricanes missed the playoffs altogether. They're going to be one of those teams on the cutting room floor. That was my honorable mention. I'm not as confident about that one, so I didn't want to bring it up, but it was going to also back up my bet here. Preds at home, +1.5 on the puck line. Headed into the break, Carolina looked bad. Carolina has also got 1 win in their last 6 trips to Nashville. I'm copping out a bit, though. Another puck line bet. Preds on the puck line, +1.5. Add it into your favorite parlay. Carolina's barely beating anyone. They're not beating anyone by 2 or more. They can't score right now. Go on the puck line. Thank me later. +1.5. I said I was going to save time for the lock of the night, but whatever. All you need to hear is the Pittsburgh Penguins are going to get carried by Steele, 5-0 this year. Sidney Crosby anytime assist. So there it is right there. Lock of the night, Sidney Crosby. Anytime assist has hit every single time for me this season. Pittsburgh, it's a pretty even split in the last 10 against the New York Islanders. Actually, the Islanders own them 8-2-0, but I think Sid has owned this team. And let me bring that up, Steele.
Yes, he has.
In his career, Sidney Crosby has scored more points against the New York Islanders than any other team in his NHL career, including 91 assists in 81 career games. Sidney Crosby, anytime assist. Lock of the night. Let's keep it rolling, baby. Merry Christmas, everybody.
Player prop for the lock of the night after the holiday season. You got to love it. Lock of the night from Flip. Sidney Crosby, anytime assist. My lock of the night, Auston Matthews, anytime a goal. You got to love it, getting back into the hockey action. Thank you so much for making the Locked On Fantasy Hockey Podcast your first listen every single day. And again, go check out Locked On Sports today. They've launched the first ever national sports 24/7 streaming channel. They're here for you 24/7, covering the top sports stories of the day with local hosts from Locked On, plus plus covering the national shows, covering every single league. So go to Locked On Sports Today on YouTube and subscribe to the first ever national sports 24/7 streaming channel. And thank you again so much for tuning in for today's episode with Flip and I. Have a great day. Good luck with all your bets out there. And we shall see you back here again tomorrow.
Peace out.